The second season of a great Star Wars TV show, The Mandalorian, has finally been released on Disney+. But does it live up to the hype generated from Season 1? And what adventure will we find the duo of The Mandalorian and the child in this season? Hello everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Star Wars Now. The first episode of Season 2 is Chapter 9, titled The Marshal, which is both written and directed by the series showrunner Jon Favreau. Straight away, if you've been aware of a particular character, you'll know that the chapter title alludes to someone right away, so this episode already set expectations high for us. Now, to keep up to date with our Mandalorian Season 2 reviews and related videos such as news and theories, make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. You can also follow Star Wars Now on social media for your latest updates on everything Star Wars. Okay, let's return to our galaxy far, far away. This is the way. Now, this episode starts with a good summary of the events that happened in Season 1, but really this episode drops us straight into the story, with Mando and the child on some kind of urban planet. It's littered with graffiti, and we see snowtroopers, Rodians, and protocol droids drawn in this graffiti art style. The Mandalorian is here to meet with an abstain called Gor Koresh, who seems to have some sort of information about other Mandalorians and where they might be hiding out. Koresh runs a Gamorrean fighting ring, where a whole host of aliens are betting on the fights. Of course, in typical Mandalorian style, this is a trap however, as Koresh was only looking to lure Mandalorians for their Beskar armour, and Gor and his goons surround the Mando. But we know not to surround Din as he activates his whistling birds and kills them all, and fights a couple extra thugs in the process. Gor managed to escape but is quickly strung up on a lamppost and is left to be eaten by wild creatures, but not before saying that there is a Mandalorian on Tatooine, in a place called Mos Pelgo. I wonder who this could be, A cool little detail is that the guy swears on the Gorta. If that info is true, with the droid Gorta being one of the 5 big syndicates in the Star Wars underworld. This leads Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, to return to Pili Motto's hangar bay in Mos Eisley. This is the same hangar bay he visited from Chapter 5 when he last visited Tatooine. You know, it's that crazy lady with the pit droids to be specific. She seems to appreciate him being back, more so that he's brought the child, aka Baby Yoda, back with him, and we really get to see the Mando's growth as a character in this, being okay with the pit droids, however clumsy they are with fixing his ship. One of them actually gets the suction thing stuck on his eye/nose at one point. Now, with the help of Peli, he locates Mos Pelgo and heads on his way, meeting some Tuskens along the way and getting along with them, all in a civilized manner. Mando arrives at Mos Pelgo and heads to the cantina to start his search for this mysterious Mandalorian, who has become the marshal of this town, but the marshal finds the Mando first before he can actually start his own search. Blink and you might miss it here by the way, there is a cameo from actor Sam Witwer as Din Djarin arrives in Mos Pelgo. The gentleman pushing what looks to be fuel containers around is portrayed by Sam Witwer, the actor best known for voicing Darth Maul in the Star Wars The Clone Wars and also portraying Starkiller in the video game The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Back to the Marshal however. Now he may be wearing Boba Fett's iconic armour, but this man is definitely not Boba. His name turns out to be Cobb Vamp, a man who bought his armour off some Jawas using Sagat's crystals. For those who don't know, Cobb Vamp is a character from the Star Wars Aftermath series of books, which detail the events after the Battle of Endor. It's fantastic that Star Wars is linking up its continuity like this and connecting everything together. Cobb Vamp is a marshal of this Mos Pelgo, and wears the iconic armour of Boba Fett, but it should be noted that Din Djarin does not know this is Boba Fett's armour, and why would he? Fett has been gone for some time now, and mostly operated on his own, likely not having any connection or affiliation with the Mandalorian covert. We need to remember, Boba Fett, although he wears Mandalorian armour, is not actually a Mandalorian himself. He's a clone of Jango Fett, his father, and very much like the clone troopers in a way, just without the accelerated age growth. Therefore, he's not going to be affiliated with Mandalorians that well. He may look like one, but he actually isn't really. The last time we saw Cobb Vamp was during the Aftermath Empire's End book, where he was dealing with the Red Key Raiders who had occupied Freetown. Whether the book fully links into the canon of what the Mandalorian set out, we need to look at another day. It certainly aligns with Vamp purchasing Boba Fett's armour from some Jawa scavengers. Mos Pelgo is also named Freetown in the books, so this information does actually align. As both men prepare to fight in this episode, their attention is drawn by the sand, which is churning up, revealing a Krayt Dragon, after it eats a poor lone Bantha. A deal is made. If Mando helps Vamp kill the Krayt Dragon, then the iconic armour of Boba Fett will be returned to Din Djarin, for whatever he wants with it. The pair depart on speed bikes to search out the dragon's lair to ultimately kill it. As one of the Star Wars Now team pointed out, Vamp's speeder bike almost looks very much like the engine of Anakin Skywalker's original pod racer from Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Not entirely sure if it's the same thing, just very similar. Vamp recalls how he freed the town from a mining collective. They took over once the second Death Star was destroyed by the Alliance. The Empire evacuated Tatooine, likely to recall and regroup as mentioned 101 times in lore, meaning the collective moved in to take over the town. Vamp escaped, brought the armor and returned to free the people. Now he runs it as Marshal of the town, almost mayor in a way. The pair do stop off, thinking they found the dragon, only to find wild creatures that appear like dogs. These creatures are actually known as Massives, to which Mando talks Tusken to, and then of course more Tusken raiders appear, who'd lead them to a Krayt Dragon's lair. It's an abandoned Sarlacc pit. This is the home place of the Krayt Dragon. Once I heard this on the screen, I personally jumped to the conclusion that Boba Fett might appear around here. Given the last time we saw him, he did kind of fall into one. As is pointed out, you don't typically see an abandoned Sarlacc pit, unless something eats the Sarlacc living there, which is a creepy thought now you think about it. The Tusken Raiders try to prove a point by luring the dragon out of a bantha as bait, only for the Tusken to get eaten instead. Honestly, these poor people can't actually catch a break at this point in time. I think this actually happens a few times throughout this episode anyway. Bad luck, team. Ultimately, it's decided, thanks to some impressive negotiations from Mando, that the townspeople of Mos Pelgo and the Tuskens will work together to kill the Krayt Dragon. If all things go well, the town will not get attacked, the raiders seek the dragon's corpse, and Vamp hands over the armor. Fun little fact here, the language of the Tusken Raiders is actually being spoken by Pedro Pascal, who is playing a Mandalorian. This morning, the actor confirmed via his Twitter account that he's indeed the one making the sounds of the Tuskens, which I think is amazing personally. The group is setting up, preparing to take on the Krayt Dragon, armed with explosives, weird crossbow types of weapons designed to impale and hold the dragon, as well as many individuals armed with some sticks and also cycler rifles. Honestly, you can sort of see how well this is going to go before it actually happens. The whole fight sequence here is actually rather well done. For a moment you think it's going straight forward with the defeat of a dragon and then explosives, up until it appears from within the top of the mountain, charging down and spitting acid on the group below. Ouch. In true Mandalorian style, both Din Djarin and Cobb Vamp take to the skies. Mando uses his new jetpack, while Vamp uses Fett's original jetpack, which I love as it has the authentic sounds as well. The Mando decides to lure the dragon towards a bantha strapped with explosives. Honestly, these poor banthas, I actually started to like them in this episode, now we're just feeding the poor things of a giant dragon. If I was a Tusken, I'd be kinda pissed at this. Ultimately this works, with the explosives detonate and the Krayt Dragon is killed within. Now of course the Tuskens celebrate this, but as the episode draws to a close, Mando is given the armor by Cobb Vamp. The two share a look, and Vamp mentions hoping to run into him again someday. Honestly, the idea of these two teaming up in the future is not too far-fetched. I could see this happening, and personally I'd love to see more of Timothy Oliphant as Cobb Vamp. Certainly an amazing actor and really brings this character to life. As the Mando rides away into the sunset back to Mos Eisley to continue his adventure, a mysterious man looks on. And the man turns out to be none other than Boba Fett himself. Actor Tamara Morrison has returned to portray Boba Fett in The Mandalorian. Of course, we partially knew this thanks to rumours and speculation, but even Morrison's own acting agency accidentally confirmed it as of last month, adding more fuel to the fire that the legendary bounty hunter would appear in The Mandalorian Season 2. What he is doing is unknown as of yet, but without his armour, lots of questions to ask would seem. Twitter and the Star Wars community is on fire at this revelation, there's lots of theories running around, but I think we'll be talking about that in a more detailed video. If you've got any theories of your own, let us know in the comment section below. Time for our thoughts and the main part of this review. Honestly, this episode was really impressive and a strong start for Season 2 of The Mandalorian. The second season had a lot to live up to, especially after such a strong start from not only the first season, but the first episode of the entire series. Maybe it's tradition at this point to reveal big things at the end of each season episode. Either way, I like it. Speaking about the big reveal, it's currently unknown if Tamara Morrison will appear anymore in The Mandalorian Season 2 as Boba Fett, but I think it's likely. Considering Din Djarin now has his iconic armour, and for the moment is still on Tatooine, I think a confrontation is likely. We'll have to see how this plays out in the long run. As mentioned earlier in this video, we can really see character development on Din Djarin, as he now accepts droids such as the pit droids. This is likely following IG-11's heroic sacrifice for his and the child's life in Chapter 8. Continuity-wise, between the books and the show is fantastic. The character of Cobb Vamp being first introduced in the book series Aftermath, now showing up in live action is great. Speaking of extra continuity, R5-D4 appears in this episode. They can be seen with Peli Motto in the hangar bay. Yes, this is the same R5 originally seen in Star Wars A New Hope, the one that was bought by Luke Skywalker, and then I think blew up partially, something like that. Speaking of CGI now, in this episode it was fantastic. Not only the Krayt Dragon, but the quality of all CGI assets seems to have improved ever so slightly. Likely as they learnt more from Season 1, they were allowed to make these adaptations and changes for Season 2. It looked great, even the picture quality is fantastic as well. Now I'll be honest, I wasn't super excited about returning to Tatooine when we learnt about it from the marketing and such. However, this episode does a job of setting out and expanding upon what we know about the planet already. From a krayt dragon to taking elements from the book, it was great. Tatooine is mysterious, and this episode does a job of making it mysterious once again. Hopefully when the Kenobi series comes around to Disney Plus sometime in the next couple of years, we do get more mysteries and evolution of the planet Tatooine. There's a lot going on this planet right now, hopefully we don't get too bored of it. Closing this out, my overall thoughts so far is this is an impressive start to the second season of The Mandalorian. We're thrust back into this section of the Star Wars universe once again, and I'm all for it. How the rest of the season is going to play out remains to be seen. We have 7 other chapters taking us right up to chapter 16 in total, so there's plenty of story content to go around. Not to mention the running time as well. Almost a full hour of Mandalorian goodness in this episode. It was epic. Please do let me know your thoughts on chapter 9 via the comment section below. If you're talking about Star Wars, then we want to hear about it. That wraps up our first review for Mandalorian Season 2. We'll be back this time next week to share our thoughts on the continuing adventures of Din Djarin and the Child, as we head into Chapter 10 of Season 2. If you want to stay up to date on the latest Star Wars news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video. We'll be reviewing episodes of The Mandalorian as they air each Friday, so stay tuned for that. We've got a lot to cover this coming week, including Ahsoka news and also more developments from The Mandalorian Season 2. Stay tuned for that. For now, I've been Captain Jack here on Star Wars Now, and we'll see you next time. May the Force be with you.